Welcome to Vasudeva Institute of Comprehensive Health and Research, or VICHAR, Vichar. Friends, the objective of this Vichar is to generate awareness about our own health and community health. We tried to learn for the about 4 sessions. We talked that health promotion is very important, and provided we know what is health and how the health can be promoted, we shall be forgetting about talking about diseases by and large, because we can take care of ourselves. Health is our right, health is our duty, because we ourselves will be responsible for our health. That should be the idea. In that context, we talked about the four major principles. Health promotion can be achieved by due health education. If we know what can help our health, suppose we have enough knowledge, information, that will definitely help us in health promotion. The second issue was we can modify the nutritional things so that the nutrition related conditions do not take place. We should know what is right type of nutrition. Third, we try to understand that environment itself can lead to better health or bad health. And that's why environmental modulations or changes, example was safe water, safe food, safe air. That's very important. And the fourth one was the lifestyle modifications. But in all these four, health education happens to be the primary thing. It's an instrument which helps all of us. We tried to understand in the last session that health education is made up of a sender who provides the information, who provides the knowledge, a receiver who receives that knowledge, a message which the sender sends to the receiver, and the channel which he uses, whether social media, newspapers, personal talk, whatever it is. So, health education can be provided by somebody who knows about it. The person's qualities we talked about, who should be the recipient, that's also understood, and several descriptions of different media was made. Now, moving ahead, that there were several types of communications. Health communication is very usual in the spreading the messages related to the health. This communication is either one way, as I am talking to you, two-way, provided you send the responses or criticize or comment, that is two-way communication. It may be verbal, by words, by phrases, or maybe non-verbal, by gestures and postures. It may be formal, talking like our relatives or our family members, or informal in a meeting in a Rotary Club or so informal. Health education or health information or communication can be visual. Nowadays it is much more used, and telecommunication or internet. Different ways of communication are there. And when we do that, we need to understand that several barriers are also there. However, best we try to communicate, there are likelihood of several barriers, several obstacles, several shortcomings. One of the barriers is physiological. For example, one is not listening to this audio or video properly because the video is not proper or the ear faculty is not proper. He cannot see, suppose he has some difficulty in seeing. That is known as physiological problem, physiological barrier. There may be a psychological barrier. Suppose the person does not know my language, how will he understand? Suppose I am talking in English, he does not know English. That's also a barrier. Suppose he is emotional, he is very angry, he is very sad. Whatever one speaks, the other person will not be able to understand it. He has some psychological problem, he has some depression, he is not able to listen to anybody. Now, that also is a barrier. And there are several levels of intellectuals. A very learned person talks to a villager. Now, whatever he says, the villager will not understand because the languages will differ on both the ends. So, level of intelligence is also one of the barriers. We need to use the language which the opposite person understands very well and interprets in a better way. Apart from the language, whatever we speak, there are colloquial changes. Somebody speaks a particular word, halya. Now in Saurashtra, halya means to walk, but in Uttar Gujarat it may be moving around or some shaking. So the difference in the language, difference in the pronunciations, that also acts as a barrier. Environmental barriers are also known. There are physiological barriers, psychological barriers, environmental barriers. What type of environment? Noise. Say outside where there is a lot of noise and you are delivering a lecture, nothing will be heard, or something will be heard which will be misinterpreted. Invisibility. There is a video show going on, but it is not clearly seen. Now this is a barrier which is environmental barrier. Or there may be fume or smoke in the room where the person is talking. He cannot be seen, invisibility. Or congestion. There are so many persons in the room that the audio or video is not visible or audible as it should be. So all these things are acting as barriers. But more important are cultural barriers. If the person is illiterate and you are going with a PowerPoint presentation, it's useless because he doesn't understand what it is. Similarly, the level of knowledge matters. I have seen many times that the professors fail to talk to the villagers because their level of intelligence, their level of knowledge is quite different from the level of the knowledge of a villager or an illiterate person. There are beliefs also. Whatever you tell, the opposite person will not understand it. For example, in one of the cases, we had been to a village where the villagers were opposing the measles vaccine. Why? Because they believed that measles vaccine will be able to provide a disability to our children. They will be lame. Now, this is a wrong belief. We had to try very much. Then the local leaders came in to our help, and then somehow we could persuade them. So, beliefs also matter a lot. Religion. Some religions say that family planning should not be used. Now, that is a religious thing, and people who are followers of that religion will not follow our instructions. Some religions say that garlic should not be taken, onion should not be taken. Now, suppose you're talking about the nutrition and garlic or cardiology and garlic, the opposite persons will not understand. They will say, no, this is not good. We will not use it. So, religious or religious beliefs, attitudes. Some persons are having attitude which is quite positive or quite negative. Some persons immediately take your lessons. Yes, sir, we will do it. And some are just adamant. They will say, no, we are not ready to do that. It depends upon the cultural brought up. How the person has been brought up, that's also very important. Similarly, if you are talking to a foreigner, the entire culture differs and he will not understand you. Or a foreigner talks to our audiences in India, we will not understand him. Same difference may be in the urban and rural areas or slum dwellers and the posh colonies. All these differences act as a barrier to your message. So whatever you want to communicate, you need to look at the barrier also. Not only that your strength, but what are the weaknesses in passing this message to the audience? That should also be understood. When we are talking about the health communication, by and large, people understand it as a health education, and there's not much difference. But communication is a step beyond education. It is establishing a bridge between the sender and the receiver, and that's very important bridge. Outward expression it is. So whatever I know, I try to communicate to you. Outward as well as downward, whatever the person has knowledge, he tries to pass on to other persons who are still wanting for that. And it is many a times known as it is a foundation of the preventive medicine. Health communication. A person who is good in health communication will be a successful preventive and social medicine man or a man in the public health. That will be very good for him. Because ultimately, our aim of communication is to change behaviors, is to change or modify the attitudes. It is the change which is coming to the knowledge. So, what are the functions of health communication? How does it work? The first and foremost function is providing information. And it's a very preliminary step. We provide information about specific knowledge. For example, measles vaccine given at the 9 months of age in the childhood that provides the protection to the child throughout the life. This is an information. Many persons may not be knowing about that. Which vaccine, when to give, why to give. This question is answered. That yes, this is a measles vaccine. It should be given at the age of the 9 months of the child, and then it provides the protection against measles throughout the life. Information provides knowledge. It provides the knowledge about the problem. It provides the knowledge about the maintenance of the health. For example, if you take Bengal gram, you will get iron. If you take brinjal in your diet, you will get iron. Now, this information, it goes to the villagers. They will be using those things and getting iron without iron tablets also. So, it maintains the health by providing some information. It promotes health. Suppose you say that early to rise and early to bed, happy the way to be happy and gay. So all these things were told because the information given was provided to improve the health, to promote the health, to maintain the health. So information is first role to provide knowledge, provide information. People rarely seek it. Unfortunately, though these things are very good, people don't like it. What's this? It's okay, we will take it for granted. Why does it happen? Because they are never told that this is really good with emphasis on that. And that's why one person who is nearer to them, who talks personally to them, provides with examples, perhaps their knowledge will improve, attitude will also improve. It may many times help in reducing the social barriers. Once you give information, some persons will be agreeing. These persons will be your messengers, and the society will gradually accept the message. They can also help reducing the psychological barriers. There are psychological barriers that no, this is not good. But you explain that scientifically, that by family planning, adopting family planning, you are helping your own family. You are helping the health of your wife, your mother, your sister. Now, these messages should be with the emotions so that they are acceptable at the level of the psychology. They can be removing the ignorance. Some persons do not know where the measles vaccine is given, what types of vaccines are provided. So that ignorance should also be removed. There is prejudice. Many a times, because of prejudice, people don't accept it. They say the milk should not be given in the pregnancy. Who don't like that? Such a prejudice is harmful to the health, and we need to fight out against it. There are misconceptions that always after, say, before preparing the vegetables, we should cut them and then wash. If you cut and wash, all the vitamins and minerals will be washed away. What you should do, you should wash first and then cut. Such a message will try to help them remove the misconceptions about the food. And generally, it provides the awareness so that they can perceive the health needs. Whenever you ask, what do you want to the people? Suppose an MLA or MP goes to the people and asks, what is your need? They will ask for anything from a hotel, a restaurant, a cinema theater, a water pump, anything. But they will never ask for the health related messages because health is considered to be the last need. It is not a felt need. So one should convert the unfelt need into the felt need. How that can be done? By providing information. Gradually, the information will pervade the strata of the community and they will learn out of that. Once they have felt needs, they will demand it. Suppose you say that if you have malaria, if you take these tablets, the malaria will be treated. Chloroquine tablets will help you. Suppose they take the chloroquine tablet after persuasion, after education, then the fever will be over. They will be happy and healthy. They can pass the message to another individual, and this is how the message percolates. This has to be done by the government, by media, by each individual who has knowledge, who knows about that, should try to pass it out. Particularly health providers must do that. What is happening? They have a responsibility to provide factual information. Always provide the information which is true, correct, and scientifically proved. And it has to be balanced. Don't go against the beliefs. You try to be with the beliefs, but gradually try to make them understand that this is better for you. For an example, suppose vaccines are not accepted in the given community. You go there, give them iron tablets first, vitamin B complex first, talk about the milk, talk about the breastfeeding, and then gradually talk about the vaccines when they are friends to you. So this is how they should be factually talked, and balanced talk should be given. Ultimate aim is to have a informed decision. The people should be informed, and they should be powerful enough to take their own decision. Please remember this sentence. The persons should be made to decide for themselves. We are not the persons to decide. We can provide information. We try to convince, we try to counsel, but this decision has to be taken by the people themselves, because that will be for a long lasting. Anything which is otherwise done may be resisted too much. And only acquisition of information, suppose somebody knows about this, we do not think that he will apply it. Suppose I talk about measles vaccine and I believe that okay, now they will take measles vaccine. No, it may not happen. After information, we should repeatedly go to them, explain many things, and then gradually make them understand that yes, now at this particular date, I should go to the primary health center and receive this vaccine for my child because my child is loved by me. Something of that type should be generated. Now, in health education, we are talking about the information. We talked about the education. Now, in education, what to do? Information and education go together. Without information, there is no education. But information is not education. Education has a specific idea to change the information knowledge into behavior, because knowledge will build up the attitudes. Somebody knows the smoking causes the cancer of the lung and repeatedly told that, perhaps he will try to decide, okay, I should stop the smoking. I should stop the smoking is the attitude. Gradually, if it is strengthened, he may perhaps stop the smoking and he may be preventing from the lung cancer. That's why the education has a specific objective of helping the person to change himself from the knowledge to attitude to behavior. This is known as a behavioral change. Now, most problems, this is very important statement, most problems are preventable. As far as the health issues are concerned, most problems are preventable. In the sessions to come, we will learn that each and every problem, health problem, may it be typhoid, may it be malaria, may it be HIV, may it be cancer, most of these are preventable. And because of that, most of the deaths are also preventable. My dear friend, what a great service. If we provide health education, if we change the knowledge to the attitude and practice, many deaths can be prevented. And saving a life is really a bliss. That's why health education has a great role to play. It changes the behavior. Behavior about what? About the risk. You are smoking, you have a risk of lung cancer. You are chewing tobacco, there is a risk of the oral cancer. If you are doing this, say, not doing exercise, there is a risk to be obese, there is a risk for the hypertension, and so on. You are not rinsing your pots, water pots, every week and allow it to dry. Unless you do that, the mosquitoes will breed into that and there will be malaria. So you see, knowledge should be converted into the practice. About the risk, they should know. They should also know about the changing lifestyles. If you change your lifestyle, if you do exercise every day, you are probably making your heart very healthy, your muscles very healthy, your longevity, lifespan will increase. These messages should go to them. But education alone, as information alone, education alone cannot achieve the optimum. You provide information, you try to provide education also, but then there will be need for the motivation. Motivation. People should have access to that. Suppose I say that measles vaccine is good, but suppose measles vaccine is not available in the nearby PHC. So education is failed. You should see that whatever you are talking is possible for him, feasible for him, is available to him, so that he can practice it. And that too with a motivation. What is motivation? Motivation is not a single bath that you can clean your body. Motivation has to be given frequently. One person who has a power that drives from within it comes to act for a given change. Motivation is a power coming from within to act, particularly for changing the method, changing the behavior. Now, health communication has this goal of providing motivation. After providing information and education, motivate him to do something. That's also a way. And motivates to what motivation? Information to be converted to behavior. How does it do? Initially, you generate the interest. Suppose we, the teachers, are taking classes. Initially, we do not bombard. We try to generate the interest. That the subject has so many possibilities. The career will be better. The salary will be better. The scope of service will be better. Earning capacity will be increased. So on and so forth. So once the interest is generated, then you go on evaluating that yes, this is better, and then he will be deciding this decision making. Interest should be converted to decision making for taking an action. Okay, I will take this subject, I like it very much. And it reduces with the time. Motivation is today, suppose 100%. After 1 week, it will be 80% or 60%. So repeatedly, we have to provide programs. And it is always good to talk to those persons who are highly motivated. That will help to act frequently. A person who is willing to do it, who will be the willing? Suppose a person has diabetes. You talk about the exercise. He will be listen to it very peacefully because he wants to reduce the level of the blood sugar. A person has hypertension. You talk to him about the good food or the diet without fat. He will receive it very well because he himself has a problem. Those persons with the chronic sicknesses are usually better receivers. Similarly, those persons with the disability, a person who has met with the accident and you talk about the laws related to motor vehicle, he will listen to quite positively. Similarly, in a crisis, a person who has already COVID-19, he is suffering with, he will be a better person to transmit the message that okay, you go for the social distancing, otherwise you will get the infection. So these people who are motivated, they should be motivated further, not only for themselves, for the others as a messenger. Information, education, and motivation. One more thing is a persuasion. You have informed, you try to educate, you try to change his habit as much as possible by providing motivation. Now you persuade, ऐसे जोर लगा के उसको बोलो, थान लो उसको. The persuasion is very good, but it is an art of winning the hearts. You persuade in a way that it is not a coercion, it is not a force, it is not a compulsion, but with love. You put the arguments in such a way that people would like to accept it. This is known as influencing the people. You influence the people. Say, insurance agents, they come to us. What do? They pursue it. That you take the insurance and it will be good for your life. The marketing people, they come to us and tell that this brand is very good. What they are doing, they are persuading. They are not forcing us, but they are persuading. If you force, the things will be in the reverse direction. They may not accept you. But persuasion is a very good thing. It's a conscious attempt. You know that what you want to achieve. You want to change the general beliefs. You want to change the understanding. You want to change the values. You want to change the norms of the persons. You want to change the behavior of another person or another group. That persuasion is an art. And it is an art of influencing the people without coercion, without force. And we want to lead them in a desired direction. One person who is fond of very sweet foods. Gradually, we talk in different ways, tell several stories, some slogans, some incidents, some cases. Perhaps he may be persuaded, and gradually he may reduce taking the sweets to a certain extent. Persuasive communication is always better than coercion or authoritization. I heard about that in Ahmedabad, some officer had told that everybody will be punished if they don't open their clinics. Now, this is coercion. This is not persuasion. Persuasion requires a dialogue. Once you establish the dialogue, the opposite party will usually listen to that. You show that it is interesting and it will be for your interest also. Force for the timing it may act, but otherwise it will be shoot back. That's not fair. We need to persuade the people by communication to modify the risk factors, to modify, change the lifestyles. There are other things also which the health communication can do, like counseling, like say increasing the morale, like say health development, like health organization setup. All these things we will be talking today. We know you about the health communication leading to information, education, motivation, and persuasion. If you go in the same way, next time we shall be talking more about the health communication. Till that, please remember Vasudeva Raval channel on YouTube. The institute which we are thinking about is VICHAR, Vasudeva's Institute of Comprehensive Health and Research. Welcome to that. Thank you very much for attending it. Thanks a lot.